pounds. Alright, Joel, here's your epoxy eye. I'm going to put it in the basket configuration. Not that I lack confidence, but I don't think it's going to pull that hard. Well, there you go, Joel. Went to 4,000. Actually kind of surprising, just with a bunch of epoxy. But that was 4,023 pounds. This one doesn't look like it did much. This one blew apart. So I guess we'd be saying maybe 2,000 pounds on each end. Okay, Joel, this is your version 2 strap. Right there. Broke right there, about 7,000 pounds. This looks like a pretty nice splice. You can feel the taper goes all the way down to about here, and it looks like it's all pulled inside the throat. So let's see what it does. And by the way, this is tachyon, and you can see where it broke, right where it would have tucked back up into the jacket. 4,777 pounds. All right, this is a splice by, looks like JT. Looks like a nice splice, feels consistent. You can feel the taper goes to right about here. It's tachyon, and it has an average breaking strength of 5,900 pounds, and I guess a maximum strength of 7,100 pounds. It's 11.5 millimeter. It's always confusing to me, the average breaking strength. But anyway, that's what it lists. Alright, this one broke at 5,236, and it broke just like the other one. Okay, this one belongs to BW, and it looks like a nice splice. It's all pulled into the throat. Taper goes maybe a little longer on this one. I should measure that, but anyway, taper goes, you can't, there it is. Taper goes down to right here. £4,197. Okay, this one gave me some trouble. The cover broke right here, and I guess that's a mark for the splice. But it comes down to where I've done my sewing too. So, and then the core started to slip all the way around through there. So I put some extra stitches down at this end, and we'll finish breaking it. All right, so this was finally let go. 2,566. So that's weird. The cover broke. The cover broke, and then when I put another stitch in the end, then the core broke at about 2,500 pounds. So, all right. All right, this is Joe K. From the mark there, it looks like he didn't get it pulled as far as he wanted. I don't know. The eye's a little wider, which is nice for me to get the pin in. And the taper comes down to about where his label is. There's the splice on that one. 4,063. Alright, this is for, well, it's rubbed off. Maybe Brian. And you can see some of his blind stitching right here. But other than that, it seems like a decent splice. Alright, so this was 4,647 pounds. Broke right there. And there again you can see the blind stitch. So you'd kind of wonder if that had something to do with the fact that it broke right here. Alright, this is by JS. Again, I can see some whipping right there. Alright, this is BH. And you can feel in this one, there's a real strangeness to the taper right there. It's got a big bump. And the taper comes down to about here, but you can even see that bump right there. So, and there's some blind stitching that's not so blind anymore. So, let's see what happens with this one. Alright, oh, BH, where's JTBH? This is 3,680 pounds. That's so something in there. Alright, this one's by FT, and I can feel the taper go down to about here. Fairly consistent taper, but it looked like OFT. He needed to get home or something. Because here's some of his blind stitching, or his stitching is up here. And then there's just, that wasn't going to get pulled in or something. I hope it was worth getting home to, because, all right, let's see what that does. And it will be interesting. I mean, the last one was pretty low too, but it will be interesting to see how much of an effect that has. 3,602 pounds, and it did that number. And the brake was clear down here at my end. For whatever reason, the cover let go right there. And when I stitched this, I put a wide stitch down at this end and a narrow stitch down here that just barely even captures the cover in an attempt to keep the cover from breaking. But for some reason the cover let go down here, and then of course the cordage just slipped through the rest of it. Okay, JT, notice that that's been pulled, the core is completely pulled in, it cinched its way down onto that pin, and I have sewn a regular sewn eye at this end, and it's just right at the end of your taper, so we'll see what happens. But I think what's going on is there's a lot of slippage between the cover and the core, and so my longer sewn eye is putting more stress on the cover, so might be something for me to consider when I break cordage that is a little softer, maybe milks a little more, has more slip in the cover and the core. I don't know, but let's break this and see what happens. Okay, so this time we broke JT's splice, and it broke at 4,500 pounds. Okay, this is a splice by JB. Nice looking splice, taper feels good, and it's got similar on the other end. This other end has the whipping on the outside. Well, that's got one heck of a stretch before it breaks. The other end looks intact, and this is the end that broke right there. And after it breaks, you can barely even tell where it pulls back into the cover. That's weird. Let's see what it broke at. All right, that one broke at 5,070 pounds.